Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new paper crafting video. Today I'm going to be playing with the Betterpress and the Christmas collection from Spellbinders. I'm going to be making these three cards. We're going to do some fun, quick, easy, well, two of them are quick techniques with these plates. This is the Merry Christmas World plate. It has sentiments on it from all over the world that say Merry Christmas. Then we have Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This one is so vintage, so gorgeous. Ooh, I love it. And then we have this one, which is Christmas Greetings. It has this beautiful cardinal and holly and a sentiment. So two plates in that one. I'll be using the cotton card panels in the color porcelain to take my prints. You can see here on the right hand side I have my Betterpress system and I have a shim underneath that gray plate. I'm going to put this Merry Christmas World down in the center of that A2 section. It's magneted into place. Magneted? You know what I mean, right? And then I ran that through my die machine. I'll show you how I do that on the next panel. I did black ink on that one. So this one, I wanted to mix it up and do two colors of ink on one plate. So you can see here, I'm using the Betterpress ink that's specially designed by Ranger for Betterpress plates, but archival ink works also. They're similar inks, but the Betterpress ink has a little bit different properties, a little bit thicker, I think is what I would call it. Hardly noticeable, but I want you to know. All right, so you can see I put my top plate on that has the paper tape to it right inside the A2 section and then ran it through my die machine. It presses that plate into the paper and it transfers the ink. It's so cool. So I used the archival ink in Fired Brick and that brown, I forget the name of it, Betterpress ink on these plates. So I've colored them each a different or their own color and ran that through as well. And look at that. I mean, the pressing into the paper part is just so awesome. I love it. It's a great look. Okay, let's move into card number one. I'm going to add some ink to this. Now, I would say right here is a little bit of a fail. I think my ink on those really like bold parts was a little bit wet still. And I wasn't loving the coverage I was getting with these Altenew inks, so I decided to bring out my Distress ink. So I'm doing Kitsch Flamingo there in the middle. I wanted just a center point that was brighter than the edge, and then I'm bringing in Lumberjack Plaid and a finger dauber to go around the edge and really make that darker. And I love how this ended up turning out in the end, but at the beginning I was not sure. But I really like adding the ink over the top of my Betterpress prints. I think they look so amazing. I did spritz this with water. It's kind of hard to tell right here that it did much of anything, but there are some water droplets that will show up a little bit later. And then I really love the border of this plate, how it looks like a postage stamp, and I totally wish they would have come out with a die to cut that out, but I fussy cut it and I love it. To accentuate this, I'm bringing in the American Holly die set. I'm in love with this. I love all things holly. All of my cards are going to have holly on them today. So then I cut that out from the center of this pattern paper that I am using as a background that was from my stash, and I really don't like to waste that middle of the paper. So I cut out two of them. One's going to go on top and one's going to go inside the card. I had enough room for two, so I might as well die cut out two, right? All right, so then I'm adding the berries, which I just die cut from red cardstock, and then I will add some glaze. Now this glaze is from Spellbinders. I just have the old style bottle because I have a lot of it. But they sell this there. It dries crystal clear and it's raised up. It's really good glaze. I like to use it for glue sometimes for certain things as well. But I put it there for a little bit of rock candy glitter. I mean, I could glitter everything now because of this bottle. It's so much glitter. Who out there got this rock candy glitter just because they love glitter? It's in a cute bottle and you can. Yeah, that was me. All right, so I have these gems from Trinity Stamps that I'm adding to my card here. They are clear with kind of an iridescent glitter, so it's going to kind of pick up the color, the glitter will pick up the color around it, and they're clear, so when the glue dries, the color from behind is going to show through. Now, these bright green ones, you would think like, maybe don't put that on there. But when all this dries, you are going to see how amazing they are. They have that clear quality, so the color behind is going to shine through there, plus the light green glitter. It's so good. But first, let's move on to the inside of the card with my extra holly, and this hot foiled strip is from the Hot Foil Kit of the Month from Spellbinders that just came out in November, and you can hot foil a bunch of sentiments and then die cut them in one pass of the die. Very cool. So check out the club kits from Spellbinders if you've never done that. They have so many. So did you check out those rhinestones? See how the green paper just shines through, but there's still that glitter behind? Ooh, I love it. All right, so card number 2, we're using that second Betterpress plate. This is the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm also going to do Distress ink over the top, but this time in oxide to see how that works. And you can see I did pink in the upper corner and red in the lower corner, so I'm just mimicking that with my inks. And I'm leaving a center highlight again, so I'm not inking all the way to the middle, and I'm really trying to do just a light dusting of color. I don't want it dark and intense and like covering up my words. I have this circle ornament. Oh, it's so good. Die set here, and I'm going to take out the holly from that and use that on this card. I had some more paper from my stash that I decided I would go ahead and use pattern paper again to cut out my holly. And this is kind of a really fun green color, and I feel like it makes this card have a touch of a retro vibe. I don't know, the green just got me happy. I loved it, and so I decided that's what I'm doing. I die cut out this holly 5 times, as well as the berries from a bright pink that I thought went really well with the pink in my card. Added that to every corner, put the 5th one on the inside, just like the card before, and now we need to add our gems. So those same, they're called Twinkle. These gemstones are Twinkle, and then they're with all these different colors of glitter inside. So these ones that I added to the card are red and pink. I accidentally poured some of my pink into my bag with my red, so I have a fun little mix, and I just used pink and red on this card because it was pink and red. And then the berries are getting completely covered with that glaze and with the rock candy glitter. You know, I'm going to be glittering all the things now. Valentine's is coming, so I can glitter all of that too, right? I mean, what occasion would I not use glitter? I'm sure there's a couple, but I would maybe figure out a way. So there's my berries covered in glitter. They're gorgeous. So cool. All right, so that is card number 2. We're going to do something totally different for card number 3. The next one is the one with the bird, and we're going to be doing some watercoloring. This one was so relaxing to do. I just find coloring to be really relaxing. I really get into a vibe here. I have my Tombow brush markers, and I just am putting them onto my glass mat, picking them up with the blending brush, and I'm not going to lie, I did not like the way that the color was moving around with the blending brush. It just was barely moving at all. So I decided to bring in my water brush and do that instead. Now I will say that this Betterpress paper, the cotton paper, it's not as blendable as watercolor paper is. So I did have to go over this a lot more than I thought I would, you know, like pick up more color and add it down, where when you're doing watercolor like this on watercolor paper, you actually are able to move the color that's down there a little bit more. So there is a difference in this paper than watercolor paper that you should know if you're going to try to do some watercoloring like this. So I did go back in for a second layer, and this time I took the pen right to the paper and then went over that because I just needed more red on there. It was just a little bit too much pink. I wanted the pink to be more like a highlight than like the color of the bird. So I did go over that again, but I just had fun, and my motto is don't give up. Just keep going, and sometimes it all works out in the end, and it totally did with this one. I used a little, like a really dark gray for around his face, and took the yellow marker right to the beak, the eye, and the legs. And I'm doing the same thing here with the dark green for the pine needles. And then I thought I was going to use that lighter green for my holly, but once you watercolor, it really gives you a lighter color already for the holly. And I really liked how these images that I'm watercoloring have really dark areas out to really bright white areas. And that's going to come in when we add in the snow. So here I'm doing the pine cone. I'm doing the same thing on all of them, putting down the marker first and then putting some marker on my glass mat, picking that up with a water brush and finishing out the coloring, except for the really tiny areas, which I'm just coloring directly with the marker like the holly berries are right here. I think they're so cool. Vibrant, vibrant red. And there is the finished coloring, but I didn't stop there. I really thought I was going to do some ink blending over this like I had done on the previous 2 cards, and I was going to do some gray or black soot, and I just decided I need to continue with this look. So I watercolored around it in a lighter gray, and then I went in with a lighter gray of the markers and concentrated right around the image itself. Once that was dry, I am bringing in some distress paint in Picket Fence and adding snow. Now the Picket Fence, when I do this technique, I'm taking the paint right from the bottle, but it will pick up some of the color behind it. It will dry a little bit translucent. And so this is like key to kind of giving it that look of actual snow. And then to bump it up a little bit, I brought in my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. So this is not going to pick up the color behind it. I'm going to add a little bit of that here and there, and it's going to make some of the snow seem really far away and the rest of it seem closer. And, you know, it just gives it that authentic look. So this was a tiny bit warped from all the watercoloring that I did. So I'm doing tape runner and liquid glue to mount this onto my A2 size card. And then for the glitter, I'm going all the way around the edge of this card with my glaze, and then of course the rock candy glitter on top. But this just, I don't know, all of these cards have a touch of something that seems kind of vintage to me, and having the glitter on the edge of my card just reminded me of an old school kind of card that I have seen. And I don't know, I think it adds to the snowy, icy feel of this card, and I love it. So I brought back those gems that they're clear with clear iridescent glitter inside, added them around my greeting, and that completes the 3rd card. So there's all 3 of my cards. I think watercoloring on the Betterpress is so much fun. You just have to know the paper is a little bit different, but you can also Betterpress on watercolor paper. So if you know you're going to watercolor in advance, maybe try the watercolor paper. It might be a little bit easier. But I had a blast making these. Adding holly and glitter to all of them was so much fun. I hope maybe you learned a couple things in this video, and if you like these cards, I wanted to show you 2 more cards with that Merry Christmas World that I made for the Scrapbook Pal channel. So if you want to see the video for these, head over to the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel. All right, there's all of my cards for this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing and giving me thumbs up. I really appreciate you, and I love sharing my creations with you. Of course, I'd love to know which is your favorite. So if you have a favorite, let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you and chatting with you. Happy stamping. Bye.